So we are back with the voice of the rain. I suppose you had understood the poem. We did the text in the last class. Let us now get into the question answers that are given in the text. Okay. So the first part is think it out, and in question number 1 you have there are two voices in the poem. Who do they belong to? Which lines indicate this? So as you had seen already in the poem, it begins with who art thou, right? And strange to tell, the soft falling showers gave me an answer. So if you remember the poem, you will see that it begins with a question and there is an answer that the speaker tells us was given to by the soft falling showers. So we understand that there are two voices. There are two voices. Who do they belong to? One is the speaker who is talking to the showers, and the other is the voice of the rain. Okay, and that is why the poem is the voice of the rain. Which lines indicate this? The first two lines indicate this. Okay, what now? Coming to the second question, what does the phrase "strange to tell" mean? If you remember, I think you have also done Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh, where you find the author telling about when he was about to depart to for higher education abroad. He said that he didn't know at her age, because his grandmother was very old. At her age, it is difficult to tell. So tell is not only about telling something, the act of saying something. Strange to tell here would be like unbelievable. Okay, in Khushwant Singh's context it was different. You never know, it was unpredictable. Here it is unbelievable. Okay, what does the phrase strange to tell mean? It means unbelievable. Okay, there is a parallel drawn between rain and music. Which words indicate this? Explain the similarity between the two. If we go back to the poem, you will see that okay, so you see towards the end of the poem, the speaker, there is a sentence in bracket and it talks about for song issuing from its birthplace after fulfillment. So the parallel that is drawn between rain, the showers of rain, and music is reflected here. Why? Because like rain, it originates from, as you've seen, the land and the bottomless sea. It originates, it moves, it takes various shapes, yet it once again comes down. Okay, so the source, it is as if the source is in a very integrated, integral, essential manner tied to the product. So the source of rain is the water body that is here down on earth, and from there rain originates. It takes shape, various shapes in the form of clouds, and then it comes down. The fact that it comes down, it is as if symbolic of the creator and the creation again coming back together. This is considered to be music, because you see here already it has been said that I am poem of earth. Why? Because there is this act of creation. The whole act of creation of rain is considered almost similar to the creation of music, because it is music. Otherwise earth would have been dull, it would have been an unlivable place. So the life that we see on earth is because of the presence of rain, the presence of water, without which it would have been a very, very dull and a very, very monotonous place to live. So that creation, that creativity, which is the capacity which is there inbuilt in rain, is also like music, because it gives the power to earth to create, to indulge in the act of creation, and that is how it becomes almost like a piece of music. That is how the rain and music, because music also, if you have somebody who's creating music, that song goes out, it doesn't remain with the creator. The act of involving in some sort of creative work, it is not meant only for the creator. It has to go out and then it will be received, it will be criticized, it will be appreciated, it will be adapted, somebody will be inspired, then there will be other versions of that, and then again it will come back to the source. So both rain and music are, are parallel to one another. Which words indicate this? I am the poem of earth, and then you have for song. Okay, explain the similarity between the two. I hope it is clear to you. How is the cyclic movement of rain brought out in the poem? If you look at this part, you will see, eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land and bottomless sea. So there is this rise upward to heaven. So there is moving upward, whence vaguely formed, altogether changed and yet the same. It takes shapes, clouds. I descend. So I rise and I descend. And then what happens? Eternal. This whole act of rising and coming down is an eternal act. And that is where the cyclic activity of cyclic movement of rain is brought out. Okay. Compare it with what you have learnt in science. So you learn this in science, you learn this in geography also, if I am not mistaken, water cycle, and this is a continuous thing that happens. Only literature will have a, a very imaginary way, a creative way of looking at things that happens all around us. So this poem is actually a very, very, what should I say, a very sensitive, creative portrayal of this whole water cycle. Okay. Why are the last two lines put within brackets? So if you remember in the last class I had told you it is bracketed because that is a silent observation. It is not between the rainfall and the the showers of rain and the poet and the speaker. Rather it is an observation from the poet, and the poet tries to make rational understanding. He is trying to find out, or he is trying to come to an understanding of this whole this activity of rain, and how the rainfall said I am poem. So why does he say, why does the Shah say that it is a poem? So all of these, the speaker, the poet now tries to make a sort of a concrete understanding, and that is why it is in brackets. Okay. List the pairs of opposites found in the poem. So this is quite easy, and it is there here. So you see, rise, descent, upward, descent, okay, day and night, okay. So all of these are parts of pairs of opposites which are found in the poem. Now notice the following sentence patterns. What will you see? This is number one. And who art thou? Said I to the soft falling shower. Number two, I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal I rise, for song duly with love returns. Now what is your what is the idea behind these sentences that are picked up from the text? It is to give you an understanding of how these sentences would look in prose. In prose we generally follow this. If I am talking to you and if I question you, who art thou, that wouldn't be a very prose sort of question, because poetry allows you the liberty to to sort of rearrange and kind of make your own syntactical structure. Okay. And that is how your poetic effect is heightened. So who art thou, said I to the soft falling. You do not say said I, you say I said, right? So, and who are you? I said to the soft falling shower. That would be a correct prose sentence. I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. The voice of the rain said that it is the poem of earth. Now when you talk about this part, poem would be kind of, this is personification actually, and that is a poetic device. So here it would be P, small p, and then poem of earth, the voice of the rain, said the voice of the rain, the voice of the rain said. Okay. Eternal I rise eternally. For song duly, the entire the last part, entire last part. What is it? For song issuing from its birthplace after fulfillment, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. So what kind of a sentence would this be? Song, for song, after fulfillment, wandering. Okay, so how will you write this in prose? You will say for song, wrecked or unwrecked, after fulfillment, issuing from its birthplace, duly with love returns. So for song, duly with love, duly returns. Okay, for song with love, duly returns. So for song is 1, issuing from its birthplace. 2, returns. 3, duly with love. 4, wandering. 5, 6, wrecked or unwrecked after fulfillment. 7, for song issuing from its birthplace, returns duly with love, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked after fulfillment. For song returns duly with love. For song 1, issuing from its birthplace, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked. Okay, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, returns. After fulfillment, duly with love. Okay, now this is correct. For song issuing from its birthplace, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked after fulfillment, duly with love returns. For song issuing from its birthplace, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, returns after fulfillment, duly with love. So this would be the correct sequence in order to write this poetic utterance in the form of a prose sentence. Okay, so then you are given a task. Look for some more poems on rain and see how this is different from them. So you can whoever is interested, you can find out poems that are written on rain. There are many poems written on rain, and you can also have your own Ohomia poems which are written on rain. You have songs that are written on rain. Lot of texts, you will find poetry or music on rain. Okay, this is a nature poem celebrating the coming of rain, right? So in India you have seen that there are movies are there which celebrates rain. There are also songs and poems which pray to rain god. You have rituals like in Ohomia we have this there is a ritual when there is a long term drought like season. There is this culture in many places in Ahom where you have people conducting this having this ritual of Bhekulibia. Why? Because this is supposed to, it is believed that way you can bring rain. So rain, why do you have such cultures? Because rain is a very, very important, essential component to our existence. Without rains, because it is water, water is central to life, right? So rain, which is another form of water coming down, or water cycle taking different forms and shapes, you have to have rain embedded very integrally to the lives of common people. Okay, so from rituals and cultural practices you also have literature which is in the form of a poem or a story or a song or a movie which talks about nature and the coming of rain. Understanding the poem, you have voices in the poem. So what voices do you have? You have voices of rain, you have the voice of the poet, you have the voice of the speaker. Okay, now sense of the poem. If you talk about the sense of the poem, it is it gives you the feeling. You have visual and sensual imagery, like you for soft falling shower, that is the sound, the effect of the sound is created, right? Relating to the process of rainfall scientifically across the curriculum. So once you read this, the purpose of all subjects. You cannot read if you do not understand how rain is, taking place, perhaps this poem would seem to you like a, just a story. But you know that, rain, it has its own scientific process, and this poem is a creative, as I had told you, it is an imaginary, creative representation of the scientific analysis of rain. If you are looking at this from the point of view of science, you will say that, H2O rises and then there is condensation, evaporation, and then it comes down and all of that. So you can break down the components of water, and all that part will be science. In geography, you talk of water cycle, you talk of, how water vapor rises and it comes down, and pressures and everything else. So what happens is this, these are ideas that are embedded into our lives, and in every subject you have a different approach to it. Now literature by nature is imaginary, and that is why it presents to us this whole cycle of rain in an imaginary manner, and comparison with other rain poems, okay, noticing the sentence structure in the poem. Now is noticing sentence structures in poems. Now this particular poem, as we had seen, the sentences are, the structure of the sentences are different from the manner of, prose, or it gives you a sense of the ancient. Why? Because the whole act of speaking to rain, বৰষুণৰ লগত কথা পতাটো এটা সচৰাচৰ মানে এইটো এটা কাল্পনিক কথা, গতিকে কাল্পনিক কথা ক'বলৈ হ'লে we have to think about stories and imaginary characters, আৰু সেইটো কথা ক'লে আমি তেওঁলোকে কথা ভাষাটো কেনেকুৱা হ'ব, আমি সদায় কৈ থকা ভাষাৰ নিচিনা হ'বনে নহ'ব, সেইটো আমি নিশ্চয়কৈ জানো যে আমি সদায় কৈ থকা ভাষাৰ নিচিনাকৈ এটা কাল্পনিক চৰিত্ৰ সেইটো নক'ব পাৰে. So that imaginary, that the quotient of imagination or imaginary which is associated with this whole poem, and that is why you have sentence structures like who art thou, who are you বুলি সুধিলে হেতু আজিৰ দিনৰ কথা, who art thou বুলি ক'লে পুৰণি দিনৰ কথা, so that you have this sensation of being transported into a different realm altogether, এডোখৰ বেলেগ ঠাইলে এখন বেলেগ কল্পনাৰ পৃথিৱীলে পঢ়ুৱৈসকলক পাঠকসকলক লৈ যাবলৈ প্ৰয়াস কৰা হৈছে. And that is why it is designed, the sentences are designed in that manner. I hope the poem is clear to you, okay, and your study materials have been provided. So if you have any doubt, you can always put it up in your groups and we will try to answer it, okay. Thank you.